Today I'll be presenting on test scenarios and test cases. Firstly, talking about the overview of the test document. It is a process of writing test document. Includes test scenarios, test cases, test plan, requirement traceability metrics, that is RTM, test strategy, test data, bug report, test execution report. So once we start making a test documentation, firstly we will see we will start writing test scenarios, continued with test cases. Then we make a strategic plan on test how the test execution should be done, and RTM, that is to map all the requirements with the test cases, and test strategy will be the high level plan consisting of principle that guides the overall software testing process. Then we will take test data, whatever the data is required, and if there is a bug, we will make a report on based on whatever the bugs we find it. And test execution report, it is a crucial process which involves analyzing, gathering, and presenting essential details and the results as well. It is a process of documenting and communicating the results of the test execution phase during the software testing. So that will be the final report kind of a thing. So what the test document actually contains is that there will be a test scenarios written. Under each scenarios, there will be multiple test cases written. So each test cases will be tested and the results will be recorded. This whole thing, we call it as a test document. So test scenario. Test scenario is a document of test cases covering all the functionalities of software application. And it is a linear statement. They are considered as a scenario. And test scenarios are a high-level classification of testable requirements and documented into a test scenarios. So, and also the requirements given by stakeholders will be grouped into a basic functionality of the module and will be obtained from the use cases as well. So, how to write a test scenario? It is by reading and analyzing the requirement document given to a tester. It can be a business requirement specification, SRS, system requirement specification, or functional requirement for specification of the software. And also we will look into technical aspects and objectives of each requirements mentioned. And thirdly, we will find a best possible way which the software can operate. And the scenarios, we write scenarios because like we don't need to miss out any specific functionality. So everything can't be maintained remembered each time and be tested. So documenting is the best way to do it. And after reading the requirement document and completion of the schedule of analysis, there are various list of test scenarios where each of every functions of the software are verified. If it is if it makes sense, or if it had to be changed or additionally added, or some of them are missing. So we create test scenarios based on them. Once you list all the possibility test scenarios, create test traceable matrix will be created where each and every requirement has a corresponding test scenario or not, to check whether we missed any functionality mentioned in the requirement document. So features of test scenarios. So test scenarios, as I told you previously, it is a linear test statements which will guide the testers to open testing sequences. Test scenarios reduce the complexity and repetitions of the product, and it will give us a clear picture if one functionality is tested completely, or it should be like even more. The tester should even more go into detailed testing or no. And it is a thread operation, as one test scenario will have multiple test cases under it. Test scenarios becomes one of the most important when the tester doesn't have enough time to write the test cases and test members agrees with the details like linear scenario. This means that the if there is a for example, there is a registration where where the user had to register himself, and the scenario mentions user is able to create a account using a email and a password, and that will give us the most information. And under that, the test scenario or test cases will be like a user is able to register himself successfully, or negative cases might be there, like there is a wrong email given, or a wrong password, or the format is wrong. So if there is a multiple test cases cannot be written, and the scenario gives us a full complete detail about the situation, so test scenarios are must. That plays a major role. Test scenarios is a time saver activity because we don't miss out the functionality which is mentioned in the requirement document, and it gives us a clear picture, so that there is no time waste in rechecking them again and again. This provides easy maintenance because the additional and modification of test scenarios are easy and independent. Now, test cases. Test cases, I told you, like it comes under test scenarios. So each a group of condition under which the tester determines whether the software application is working as per the customer's requirement or not. So in test case is a first level action and derived from the test scenario, and it is also a in detail document that contains all the possible inputs and the negative steps which are also used as test execution process. Test cases gives detailed information about the testing strategy, testing process, precondition, and expected output. So why is writing test cases are important? So firstly, to require consistency in a test case execution, so that we don't miss out any steps. Next, to make sure a best test coverage, we should cover all the possible scenarios and document it, so that we need not remember all the scenarios again and again. It depends on the process rather than on a person. That means a tester, basically a tester is testing an application. When there is a first release, he is a tester who tests it. In the second release also the same person does it. But in the third release, the person is not available in the company. Maybe he quit the company, but when the new tester is appointed to test the same software, but in the third release, he should come to know what is happening, what was the essentials during the first release and the second release. So that is why we maintain this test document, and to check whether the software meets the customer expectation. Test cases helps to check if the particular module or the software is meeting the specific requirements or no, and to check software consistency condition. Test cases determine see so the modules or the software works are given with the set of conditions. Are these softwares meeting those conditions or not? Narrow down software updates. Test cases helps to narrow down the software needs or requires the update. Better test coverage. Test cases helps to make that all possible scenarios are covered and documented. For consistency in the test execution, uh, here the test cases helps to maintain consistency in test execution, as well as documented test cases helps the tester to just have a look at the test case and start testing the application. Helping during maintenance. Test cases are detailed, which makes them helpful during the maintenance phase as well. So this is the test case template, where this is the header. Header contains test case name or ID, which will be when it is released, version, and what is the application name and which module we are testing on. And test case type, it can be a functional test case, or functionality test case, or integration testing, or system testing. Whatever type it is, that will be mentioned here. Requirement number, so it depends on the requirement document what is given, and the module which you're working on. This severity is something tells whether this module is critical or major or minor. What is the status of this module, and what is the status, if it is completed or no, when is the release done, and the version of this release. If there are any precondition will be mentioned here, and test data will be mentioned here, and anything about this release will be summarized and written in the summary. The body contains step number, description, inputs, executed results, actual results, status, and comments. I'll show you the body which I have prepared and explain you there what it actually means. And the footer will be whoever did the testing, the author will be that person, that means the tester, and the date of completion, and it will be reviewed by a senior person and approved by a senior person. This is the footer. So let me show you. So this is the body which I was talking about. Firstly, we have a test scenario here. For first scenario is of create user with email. This is the test scenario. Here is the test case name, create user with user email, and what will be done actually in that is given here in the test description. This is verify if the user is able to register himself using an email. And what is the action to be done when the tester is testing? The register user using email and password. What is the test data given? So it will be an email address and the password which will be using during the testing. That also should be recorded. What is the expected results in the sense? This is what I expect when I click OK or register button. So it should tell user registered successfully. And the actual result is also the same. So the test case is result will be pass. If there is any comments mentioned to be given, like while I was registered, the password limit was 8. Lesser than 8, it was not taking. So that one I mentioned there. If the test case is failed, it will be given failed in the result column, and there will be a comment, and also there should be some proof like a screenshot or something to prove that it failed the condition which was given. And mainly there will be a test ID test case ID, and also there will be a test scenario ID as well. Now, what is the difference between test case and test scenario? Uh, so, test case is a defined format of software testing required to check a particular application or software or module is working or not. It test scenario, it provides a small description on which the software need to be tested and perform based on the use cases. So basically, test scenario is something that gives a small description about the test cases which is under them. So this is the difference between test cases and test scenarios. Thank you so much.
Any question from anybody?
Any questions?
No, sir.
Yeah. And so, what is the next step you have?